blurry right off the bat. How's that for a start? Hold on. There it is. Oh, my voice is a little scratchy today. Whew, but anyway, folks, we're back. Back at it. 4-team vids. Hello on YouTube, my friend. How are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, welcome in. Folks, happy Monday. How you doing today? You know the Monday stream, so let's kick it off. Put the text up. The question booth is open. Ask away, folks. Alicia, good to see you. Happy Monday to you. Sorry, TikTok. Now it's fixed. Thank you for that. I sometimes forget to turn on my virtual camera. How's that? It should be working now, right? Sorry about that, folks, but thank you for letting me know. Getting Monday off to a good start, huh? A little bit bumpy. That's how Mondays go. But folks, good to see you. Did you have a good weekend? I hope it was chill. Hope you enjoyed it. I got some good rest. Played 2 hockey games yesterday, so I ain't complaining. How about y'all? We're back at it for another week, and I got a good feeling about this week. What about y'all? I feel like there's good stuff coming. We're gonna get some good work done, have some good streams, and just get back in the flow of it. It's gonna be nice to get into the regular work routine for a couple weeks. No more travel for a long time. Leisha, you've been super focused on that animation project. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I want to see what you're doing with it. I'm pumped. You're telling us about it. You're getting us excited. I want to see. When do you think you'll have something to show off from it? Also, thank you for the heart me there, Melissa Lee. Interesting. I have a new interface and it's not showing. There we go. All right, stretched it out better. Now I can read the name. Melissa, welcome in, and thank you for the heart me. Alicia, when you have something to show, you'll show it. That's fair. Completely fair. Melissa, thank you for the tiny on the bicycle. I love it. You're calling up the goblins early, huh? You're calling them up. There you go. Look at him. Look at his little tooth. I love the little tooth. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. We got the Totoro mug today. It's a good day. You know it's a good day when the Totoro mug busts out. And we're gonna get to the regular flow of things. Speaking of flow and form, 3D printing said my book has hit writer's block. Never a fun time. I'm very sorry to hear that. Specifically, if I'm trying to get past writer's block, what I will do is, number one, try to figure out what's causing it. If it's too much work, rest a little bit. Creativity is not really, we're not machines, right? You can't force it. But if it's not that, if it's something else, then what I would try to do is set a timer for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and during that timer, just write constantly, adding to the story. Doesn't have to be good. Don't worry about if it's good or not. Just write until the timer's done. I find that often kickstarts my, the creative part of my mind and gets me going. So give that a try, Flow and Form. Let me know how that works for you. Chris on YouTube, hello, my friend. I am a full-time author. It is what I do every day. It is how I make my living. If you got any questions about writing, publishing, books, please ask. Happy to talk to you about it. Eric, do I play any video games to help with writer's block? I mean, I might play video games while I have writer's block. I'm not sure it helps so much as just distracts me for a little bit. But yeah, definitely. Chris, I am not unemployed. I am self-employed. I make a living salary every year selling books. I don't know why. I see this perception that people think being self-employed is unemployed, but that's very much not the case. I supported buying a house, and I support living full-time from selling my books. It is very much a job. I work a lot of hours each week, I assure you of that. Rafi, what's up, my guy? No worries. Bro, you got nothing to apologize. We are very happy to have you here. Mythic Man said, what kind of story? Talking about for my books, because I can pop those up real quick. Here's some of the books that I've written. A lot of these are book ones. They have sequels, but yeah, there's a lot of my stuff. You can find them all in the links in my bio. They're on Amazon and Audible, Kindle Unlimited. Give them a look. Internet Scum. That is the name. I'm not just being mean. Yeah, I self-publish. I work with a couple small presses, and I was briefly TradPub, but not anymore. Hope to be again in the future. We'll see. Sorry, what was this one? Mythic Man, what kind of stories you make? Okay, so that was your follow-up on your question. Yeah. So I put him up there for a minute. Mostly fantasy. It's kind of my vibe. Megorium, hello. Good morning. Pleasure to have you. I hope you had a good weekend. Tell me about it if you did. Cerbert Smith, Crown of Darkness. Now that's interesting. You said, how has the recent boom in the romantasy market affected epic fantasy market? I don't think it has too much. If anything, it's probably been a positive because I think the romantasy boom has brought a lot of new readers into reading that previously weren't. So if anything, I think it's positive for us. But I have a suspicion the romantasy bubble's kind of bursting right now. Could be wrong. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Maxie, how long have I done this? I have been writing full-time since 2018 as an author. I did 3-ish years before that as a ghostwriter and a freelance business writer. The ghostwriting helped me pivot into being an author full-time. D-Long, what's up, my guy? Welcome in. Titan Terra, thank you for the heart me. You're too kind. You know how it goes. Gift for a gift. Goblin for you. That's yours. Thank you very much, Titan Terra. And good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you. Megorium, did I finish my map? I did. Hold on. We can pull it up. Is it... Let me grab it. How's the easiest way to show this? We'll grab it here. We finished it on Friday. I put up a little video of it. It was pretty cool. It was almost a little bit of a time-lapse from the progress on the map each day. All right, let's see. Here's the final one. Let's see if we put it here. We go to display capture. It's on the wrong display, but we'll fix that. We're going to go to... Hold, please. There it is. Okay, and put it here. Boom, there's our map. Can you see it now? We can zoom in a little bit on it, but yeah, we got it all done. I'm pretty stoked with it, y'all. I appreciate your help with it. Every Friday we make maps, and y'all help me make this one. But yeah, I made it public on Incarnate, so if you wanted to check it out, you're more than welcome to. The link is in Discord. Megorium, you slept most of the weekend away, but in between sleep, you did start a new drawing. All right, rock on. I hope you're digging it. Flow in Forum says romantasy is overdone. It has had a big moment, definitely. I'm Dirty Dan. I have an interesting idea for a book, but don't know how to write. Well, no better time to start learning, my friend. It's a very enjoyable process, in my opinion. Squall JT, you started Paragon again, so you can listen to books 2 and 3. Oh, thank you, my man. I appreciate you. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy them. Y'all, if you don't know, they're talking about this series right here. Got 3 books out. Book 4 is already finished. It's with the audio company. And book 5 I am wrapping up. So those are on the way. Someone asked fantasy based on what? It depends, but here, this is my, if you want a good intro, this is my newest one. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to save the Dark Lord. Reads like a D&D campaign where the DM's taking a shot after every chapter, and the players put 0 points into intelligence. Links are in my bio. You can grab it on Amazon, Audible, Kindle Unlimited, all that stuff. But thank you. If you want to read them, start there. Titan Terra said, what do you recommend doing as a first-time writer? I recommend writing short scenes for fun. They could just be a conversation between 2 characters. could just be a description of an environment or a setting. Start small. Think of it like trying to run a marathon. Books are a marathon. Novels are a marathon. Short stories, scenes, these are your mile run, your 5K that you build up to running a marathon. So you want to start smaller. Because it's too much to jump into a novel right off the bat. You don't need that pressure. Aki Landi, I believe you asked about changing POV in a book. It can be done, but for the purpose of consistency almost, I think it's better to maintain the same point of view in your book, be that first or third person. But it can and has been done to change POV in books. It just needs to be intentional. Make sure it's done on purpose, you know? Thank you for the question. Impage, good to see you, my guy. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend, buddy. We finished our map on Friday. Very stoked about that. Mythic Man said, "Do you plan or write more drafts, then refine more?" Mythic, the thing that I am weakest as an author is plotting and planning. So I try to minimize how much of that I do. I get a solid, brief outline, and then I just roll with it. In the moment is when I'm most creative. That'll vary from person to person. New Alex release? Titan Terror, what are you talking about? I do have 2 novellas on the way, so that's pretty soon. Oh, yeah, that was a response to Paragon with book 5. Gotcha. R.A. Sandpiper, hello, fantasy author. Welcome in. Fantasy author is my favorite type. Gotta admit, I'm a little biased. Connor, you said you finished Wriggly Little Hands with your kid yesterday. It was such a fun read together. Man, that's so cool. Connor, thank you so much, dude. I so hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, guys, my throat's scratchy. Guess I was yelling too much at hockey. That's awesome, dude. You read it with your kid? I love that so much. Thank you, dude. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Y'all, if you don't know, Connor is talking about my new one, Wriggly Little Hands. Goblins, comedy, fantasy. Links are in the bio. Check it out if you're interested. You got a good review from Connor right there. Thank you, my dude. Connor, please do leave a review on Amazon and or Goodreads if you can. It really helps me out. But I appreciate that, man. Thank you. R.A. Sandpiper said, "How many books did you have out before you became full-time?" Probably 3, I think, Sandpiper. But even at that point, I wasn't making enough to be full-time and make a living wage. I built up to it, and there was a period of about a year where we were really thin on income from it. So it was, I probably should have waited a little bit longer. Alicia, why do you want to change POV in the story? Do you want to change it overall, or you just want to change it in specific parts? 4-6, the bean juice is hot. We're rocking the Totoro mug today. Got some French press from Café Du Monde brand in New Orleans. Figure I'm gonna be down in New Orleans later this year. Gotta start prepping, right? Slindy, good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Good morning to ya. What a beautiful Monday morning, huh? Blind Kid Drama 95 said, "Fantasy storyteller on TikTok. Like I said, there are 2 chapters so far." Oh, okay, you're talking about something that you write? Sick, man. Love it. TikTok's a really cool medium for telling stories, personally. I think we haven't explored it to its fullest extent yet. Rafi, I'm going to advocate for a pen name workshop again. Oh, are you trying... go on about that, Rafi. What do you mean? That sounds really interesting. Titan Terra, you asked where to go. Any advice on multiple character POV chapters? Things to watch out for. If you're going to do that, it should be established. The book should be omniscient, right, from the POV. If you're going to be jumping heads from character to character. Don't just bring it in randomly. It should have a purpose, mainly. Multiple character POV chapters, yeah. Do it with intent, I'd say. Oh, Leisha, you can totally head hop. Don't stop yourself from doing it. If that is the way you want to write, you can totally hop between heads. I spent a lot of years being like, no, this book must be a single POV character per chapter. very rigid, and it's like you don't got to do that, man. Do what comes natural to you. That makes it more interesting. Wriggly Little Hands was the first one I wrote with omniscient viewpoint, and I absolutely loved it, and it made my writing so much better. So Lindy, you went for a walk early this morning, but now you're trying to lock in. Hey, walk's a good way to start it off, man. Great way to clear the head. Big Boy, I have an idea for a story but don't know how to create the universe for it. Any suggestions? Big Boy, create as little of the universe as is necessary to start writing. Then start writing, and you'll find you naturally create more of the universe as you work through the story. That's my personal approach. I'm not a big world builder ahead of time. Some people will build more. I personally think get the minimum amount down, then start writing, and the world will be naturally built as you go through ideas and concepts you have to figure out as you're writing. Suave Tempo, any advice for manga writers who can't draw? Ooh, boy, that's really outside of my domain. I don't really know. Find a partner who can draw. See if you can find a partnership there. That'd probably be my best advice for that one. Mare Bear Streams, you got a new notebook? Ooh, please share it in the Discord. I'd love to see a picture of it. I am obsessed right now with notebooks that like you can dedicate to creative pursuits. I love that. I've been my comp book, my 40-cent comp book from Target has been, oh boy, responsible for so much late night brainstorming and writing sessions lately. It's lovely. Guys, if I missed your question, please ask again. There's a lot flying through, but I definitely want to get to the answer. Slindy, you said you got the paint for your room. Now you can start prepping it for its makeover. Dude, nice. That'll be fun. Dude, show us some pictures on Discord before and after. Love to go along that journey with you. Zay, hope I'm saying that right. I have a world me and some friends have been working on, a world for years. How do you keep up with plot holes? I just try to fix them as I find them, I suppose. I don't like them to exist, but if you're making it with other people, it'd be a lot more easy to have plot holes, but I just try to fix them as you find them, basically minimize them as much as possible. Crashy40 said Smash Bros. Main. Oh, it's been a while since I played, but I'm a dirty Kirby enjoyer. I just love when he does like the floating and then turns into a brick and just boom crushes people. Love it. There's no better move in the game. Isabel Knight on YouTube, my friend. It's good to see you. You said you're a fan of books with head hopping, especially books from the early 2000s. Gives you a lot of nostalgia. I dig it. Oh, interesting. Isabel provided some insight on the manga question. She said you could also try and learn to draw manga on your own, but as an aspiring artist myself, I know that it can be hard. But, progress is part of the journey, right? And it's personally, I think progress is like the best. I love feeling that I'm getting better at something. Anti Veritas just scrolled away. It says, I'm a poet and everyone keeps telling me I should publish my poems. Advice, how to do so. Okay, so I'm not too knowledgeable in poetry publishing these days. When I was in poetry, I would find literary magazines, poetry magazines, etc. that were running. Often they publish on a repeating cycle, monthly, quarterly, etc. And you can submit your poem to them, and if they like it enough, they'll publish it. So that's how I know to go about poetry publishing. If it comes to like publishing a book of poems, that one I'm not really sure beyond self-publishing. I don't know how to query that, to publishers. Phoenix asked R.A. Sandpiper, what's your fantasy book about? Tell us about it. 46 said, unrelated question, but how many maps have I asked you to add a fishing dock in? Y'all, if you don't know, on Fridays we make fantasy maps. That's our stream. And 46, a longtime viewer, always wants me to put a fishing dock in the map. So we got one up here last time in the lava. 46, I think it's 3 maps now. Maybe 2. I think it's actually 2. It's 2 maps that we've put fishing docks in per your request. But I imagine all maps going forward will have them. Chronic Ghoul. I have children's books published on Amazon. How do I get people to buy? Oh boy, I wish I had a better answer for you. It's so hard. The market's so saturated. What I would say is find the community where your readers are. be a genuine member of that community, contribute value to it, cheer others on, help out when you know things that they don't, etc., etc. I think being a genuine member of the community is the best way to speak to your readers. But beyond that, I know nothing about marketing. I'm learning marketing. I'm terrible at it. I hate it. So yeah, I wish I had more advice on that one. Jack Ann, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Monday. I hope you're doing good. Let's start this week off right, huh? Y'all, thank you for the follows. I appreciate you. Seriously. Y'all don't know how long I spent on TikTok with like 200 followers because I didn't realize that live streaming is something I'm good at, and I was just trying to make videos, and I'm terrible at that. Mare Bear, thank you for the gorilla and the heart me. I appreciate you. And y'all, we got a little rule around here. Slendy as well for the heart me. Guys, we got a little rule. If you give a gift, you get a gift. So these goblins are for Mare Bear. And for Slendy, thank you very much, y'all. I appreciate you. And those goblins are for you. And we're going to set them right here. Mare Bear says, hey, you got in your local bookstore. I'd say your marketing skills must be getting better. Well, thank you, Mare Bear. That was getting in local bookstores is more a matter of querying them with a professional-looking query, talking about your book and whatnot, saying why you think it would do well, and then just kind of building that relationship. It's not the most marketing skill, but I guess it is on some level. So thank you. It's been great. We've sold them out of signed copies twice now, so let's get some more. Isabel Knight on YouTube said, let's see, it helps to get to know your characters better and how they would speak. Oh, talking about reading your dialogue out loud. Do not look at your drawing and think it's dreadful. If you decide to try and learn to draw manga on your own, of course, it's not going to be perfect or polished. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. Recognize that you're at the improving stage of the journey, and don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. It's okay to be bad for a very long time. You have to be bad before you're good, right? Enjoy the fact that you're early on and you have so much potential. Aruma Itsuka says, I'm a VTuber. I want to start a store with my OC. Not sure where to start. Aruma, if you're writing it for yourself, start wherever you want, whatever fascinates you most. If you're writing it for publishing or to engage readers, the general rule is to start the story as late as you possibly can in the timeline without fully confusing the readers. You don't want to start too early because then it's like it takes a minute to get going. You got to get some setup. No. You want to jump past all of that and you want to start the story at the last point it makes sense for the readers, and then just drag us through the plot. Get us right into it. Impage Studios says, have you ever had the issues of accidentally changing POV mid-session? yeah, I've done that, Impage. It happens. You get better at not doing it, with more practice, but not the biggest deal. It's a pretty easy fix. I once had a book, y'all, that I, based on editors' feedback, had to go through and change the POV of the entire book. The whole book was third person, and the publisher and the editor thought it would do better in first person, so I had to go through the whole book and change it all to first person. And let me tell you, that was not going to say nightmare because it was relatively easy, but it was some monotonous work. Zamuzi, have you written any characters with a disability? I don't believe I have. So not physical, at least. I try to be very careful about writing things that I don't have firsthand knowledge of. So if I do something like that, I do a lot of research ahead of time to try to be as legit as possible with it. No, I don't think I've done that, though. Guess that's something I should think about, huh? Tide and Terra, how do you edit for characters to make sure there's growth and development? Start the characters at one point in your story. So you should start your characters already knowing what their flaw is, and you should put it on display relatively early, and then if you're doing a positive change arc for your characters, by the end of the book, that negative trait should be resolved. Often, it's the difference between what the character needs versus what they want. You should intentionally create a character knowing this is what they need, right? This is the thing they need to complete them. This is the thing they want that they think they need, right? They should get the thing that they want, realize it doesn't complete them, and have to pivot to the realization of getting what they want, or what they need, sorry. It's how you do a classic positive change arc. But if you want more information on that, go to let me type it in. There's a website called helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. It has a really good article series on character arcs and how to write them, and I learned a ton about writing from that website. I'd highly recommend that. Melissa, you're terrible with the need versus want of characters. Hey, you just got to practice more. That's how you get better. I feel you though. I was and still feel that I'm pretty bad at it. Just gotta be intentional, I guess. Jack Ann, thank you for the heart me and AK Enchanted World. There we go. We got there. Thank you for the heart me, y'all. Gift for a gift. These goblins are for you. Don't feed them after midnight. Hide all the matches in your house. They're very cute, but they're going to make a horrible mess. I apologize ahead of time. But thank you for the gifts. I appreciate y'all, for real. Loki Bjorn, 93. As an author, who was your biggest inspiration? So there are authors that I really love to read, like Joe Abercrombie, Michael Crichton, Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams. But inspiration-wise, I'm going to say A. Lee Martinez. A little bit of a smaller author than those names. But A. Lee Martinez has made a solid career writing fun, goofy books, and I've always enjoyed it. And I've just respected, like, he feels to me like the most working class author in terms of, like, I don't think he's rich, I don't think he's famous, but he's got enough to keep doing the job, and he seems to have fun doing it. And I think that's been my goal. That's always been my goal with writing, is to make enough to keep doing the job and have a good time doing it. Oh, Brandon, you're doing a POV change for one of your books right now, man. Yeah, it's not fun. Good luck with that. I'm sorry. It's just a monotonous change. Make sure you have someone read over it after you do, because it's so easy to miss instances that you change. Oh boy, wow, big rush of questions there. Kai, hi. How many books did you get published before you went full time? Kai, I think it was 3. But it was it's a little bit of a muddy answer because I was also ghostwriting at the time that I went full-time. So I had income from ghostwriting and from publishing under my own name. And then I slowly dialed back my ghostwriting work as my author income rose. So it was more of a transition than it was just a big jump, you know? Good question, though. That full-time jump is something people are very interested in, which I understand. It's a hard thing to do, but it's a meaningful change if you can make it. Brick Ammer Whammer, fun name, said, what theme are your books? So my books are fantasy for the most part. I started in lit RPG, so if you want more sci-fi stuff, down here. But these are my new stuff. This is fantasy. And my newest one, and what's going to be kind of my vibe going forward, is Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to save the Dark Lord. It's very goofy. It's been described as a D&D campaign where the DM's taking a shot after every chapter, and the characters put no points into intelligence. The links are in my bio. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, Audible. Please check it out. And if you want to see kind of my brand going forward, here it is, y'all. Give it a look. I appreciate it. It supports me. It supports the stream. But let's get to some questions. Sharon, Tide and Tara, you like my verbal typo? All right. Pharaoh, I should scale back my view of the world. If you want. I don't think that's ever a bad thing in a book. I think a book focused on story is a solid thing. They say in publishing that settings don't sell novels. Plots don't sell novels. Characters sell novels. So focus on character, then plot, then the world, I think. But, you know, I'm not the best-selling author of all time, so maybe I don't know. In M. Dahlius, I love the cover art. Oh, thank you. Big shout-out to Ivan Shavrin, my cover art genius for this, man. He's so good. So easy to work with. Love that dude. I've already worked with him for another cover, and I want to work with him for all my future covers. So we'll see. Titan Terry, you're the queen of verbal typos. Love it. Ooh, we got a Hangul name in chat. Let's see, Jomama, Jomama. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a play on Joe Mama in English, or it's something in Korean that I don't know, but they asked, how do you query? If you want to query for TradPub, what you're going to do is look up literary agents who represent your genre and who appear to be selling books in your genre actively. You'll go to their website, find what their query requirements are, and you'll put together a query letter, which basically says, hi, I'm this person, I've written X number of books, or this is my first book, it's 100,000 words long, it's in these genres, here's 2 comp titles that are similar to it that have sold recently, here's a blurb for it, thank you very much, get out. And you send those query letters to personalize to each of the literary agents. You hope that one is interested and sees potential in your book. If they pick you up, then they'll work with you on the next steps in the process. So that's a quick overview for querying, but please do ask more specific questions on it. I'm happy to talk about it. I have a fair few tips for querying. I've spent a long time in the query trenches. I also always recommend, if you're querying, go to Reddit. .com/r/pubtips. It is hands down the best querying community online. Incredible information there. You'll learn a ton. Thank you for the follows, y'all. Just had a rush up there I didn't comment on, but appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Let's see. Jumpy, you have a 2-parter. Let's find part 1. You said, hey, ever since I was a kid, I've been told I had a very creative mind. Where would I start to make a book with the stories I've already created? Jumpy, start by just trying to write. I guess you've already written them, right? You said the stories you've already created. So it sounds like you've already written those stories. What I would do is I would look at short story contests, such as Writers of the Future is one of my favorites. It's free, it runs quarterly, it's got professional judges, it's a great contest. Start submitting your stories to those contests and others like it. You'll get some feedback, you might win an award for it. I really think you should start with short stories. Short stories require everything that a novel has, beginning, middle, end, characters, conflict, resolution, but in a lot less page space. You can write them a lot faster. In Imdalia, you said it's cool I know Hangul. Thank you. I'm still learning. I got the alphabet down. I got some basic sentences and stuff, but we got a long way to go. I love learning languages. I also know a fair bit of Greek and a fair bit of Spanish and a little bit of German. So, instead of just learning one really well, I decided I was going to learn a whole bunch really poorly. Zamuzi, thank you for the follow. Slindy, you're learning Korean too, dude. Rock on! I didn't know that. All right, we're gonna have to talk poorly at each other in it. we can try to help each other. Oh, Phoenix, you said there's a TikTok lady named Gina who does a bunch of query stuff. I know there's also a literary agent on TikTok. I need to get her name. Who does a lot of lives, just same thing I'm doing, but from a literary agent perspective, which is super cool in my opinion. I need to tune in there, and I need to also get her name so I can recommend her to you, because she answers a lot of good questions on her lives. Bear, you're learning Mandarin? Rock on. I considered it briefly, settled on Korean instead, but Mandarin sounds fun and very difficult. Very difficult, I imagine. Props to you. Tell me how you liking that journey. Josh, you said you missed me for like the last 2 weeks. Well, we're glad to have you back, my guy. Hope life's been good. I'm happy to see that raccoon profile picture scrolling through the chat again. Welcome back, my friend. Jack Ann says the lit agent that I'm talking about might be Tara Kimberly. Might be. I'm gonna have to, next time I see her, I'm gonna write her name down. I'm going to write her name down so I can share it with y'all, because it's a great resource. I really appreciate a literary agent being that open, because they're very, very busy. They are highly in demand. I do not envy their work schedule. But yeah. Mare Bear, you said it's a pretty logical language. Like wallet translates to hand money, or is functionally hand money. Nice. I'm glad. I like when things make sense in other languages, right? C Biscuit, do you know if I book assisted with AI, can it be published? It can be published. I would worry that the artists don't love AI on the whole, right? Like I think AI is much better used for other tasks that are not creative and human endeavors. Can you publish a book that was written with AI assistance? Yes. Personally, I think you're only shortchanging yourself by doing that, because you become a better writer through practice, and you're better served practicing and getting better. to write better books in the future. So can you? Yes. Should you? That's up to you. I wouldn't do it personally. CB, do you have a master's in creative writing, or do you really need one to become an author? Absolutely not, my friend. I do have a bachelor's in creative writing. It was not worth it, in my opinion, and I went through a very good creative writing course, studied under a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. Personally, I just didn't see the value in it. It was good, but like, if you want to write to sell, I think your time is much better served simply reading widely, reading books that are selling well right now. Just devour those and write a ton of short stories, and then start writing novels and querying them. I think that writing's one of the few places where you can truly, truly learn simply by doing and by consuming, and that's incredible. You should take advantage of that. Degree is not necessary by any means. Leisha said, I've thought about learning Mandarin because I like C-dramas. Hey, that's a good reason. That's a good way to interact with the culture, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Phoenix, you said Gina Denny is an editor and does query letters on TikTok. That could be... that name's ringing a bit more of a bell. Could be that. And yes, Phoenix, Brandon Sanderson does have a whole free class on YouTube about writing, and that guy knows what he's talking about. I really like his teaching style. I think you'd be better served watching Brandon Sanderson's lectures, reading widely, and writing short stories. I think that's the best thing you can do. Hi, Crypt Myth. Welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. You said the established community will reject you if they catch a whiff of AI. Yeah, I fully believe that would be the case. We are trying to stand in unity against AI. Fox Warfare. AI should never be used as a way of creativity, and it would ruin originality. I don't disagree. Ivana Wright. I've used AI for editing, and I get so mad when it tries to clean up my work and mess with it. Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable in AI for editing. I just stay away from it entirely. I just completely avoid it. I don't even want to touch it. I've never even used like ChatGPT or anything. Brandon said, I just started writing for the first time in 9 years. I have a long-running fanfic Star Wars series. Hey, let's rock on, man. So wait, you just started writing for the first time in 9 years, but you have a long-running Star Wars fanfic. Did you write that originally like 9 years ago, and now you're returning to it? Because congratulations for a long-running series. It's a different level of difficulty. A lot of people don't realize to continually write. Keep a series rolling. Keegan Miller said, "What is a good longsword for a hero?" I'm not too knowledgeable in different types of swords and stuff. It's not ever really been that interesting to me. But if I had to pick one, I don't know if it's classified as a longsword, but I like rapiers. I think they're fascinating and scary how quick they can move. Shonen Lion? I think it is Shonen Lion. I have a question. How many books should I release before my magnum opus? I mean, preferably you just drop that magnum opus off the get-go and make all the money off of it and get rich and famous, right? So I guess 0. Titan Terra says, creatives in college aren't a requirement, in my opinion. If anything, is better without. Yeah, I agree. The truth that I experienced with creative writing in college is all of my curriculum in creative writing classes for college was designed towards literary fiction. Literary fiction is a completely valid genre to write in. It is not a well-selling genre. It is the de facto genre of universities, though. College professors and creative writing students in college typically write literary fiction for others who are writing literary fiction. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. It doesn't sell a lot. I wanted to write genre fiction, and a lot of my professors and fellow students looked down on genre fiction as not having literary merit. And I was like, cool story, but I want to make a living doing this, so I want to write books that sell. So that's part of why I don't recommend a creative writing degree. I did not find it was a welcoming environment for genre fiction. It was much more of like, you must write the next great American novel. And it was like, cool, but I want to make a living off this, so I'm going to write stuff that sells. Impage, my D&D game has not happened yet. We were going to fire it up, but my wife's going to be gone for 3 weeks on an ocean expedition. And she is an essential player in that campaign, so we figured we better hold off on starting it till she's back. Thank you for asking, though. In Dahlia, mystery writer, which, sorry, I forgot to call that out. If you got author in your name, I always want to know what you're working on. So tell me about it, but I think you are here. I've been working on my mystery series for 7 years now, prepping for my debut next year. Hey, congratulations, Dahlia. Rock on. Way to stick with it. Congrats on the upcoming debut. I hope it goes excellent for you. OBJ said opinion. Yeah. Not going to answer that one. Brandon said, yes, I'm returning to it. I wrote 9 books, and I had a friend work with my characters on side stories. Dude, Brandon, congratulations, dude. That's awesome. That's sick, man. You stuck with it for a long time. Be proud of that. And welcome back to the swing of things. You took a little break, and now you're back to it. Congrats, man. What's the Star Wars fanfic called? Give us that title. Jason Funderburker, I did get to finish the map. Here it is, man. We finished it on Friday. I've made it public on Incarnate. You can grab the link in Discord. And here's our finished map. We'll be starting a new one this Friday, but I got to figure out what we're going to do it about, right? So tune in Friday to help me figure it out, guys. Thank you for that, Rafi. I appreciate you, my guy. Hey, Dahlia, you got an anthropology degree to help with your writing for mystery. Nice, dude. I like that. That's actually a pretty good degree for it, I think. I actually was going to major in anthropology, but my university dropped the anthropology major right as I started it, so I had to find a new one. Fascinating. I love anthropology. Rock on for getting a degree in it. Stank money. How has it helped you, actually? I want to know. How has it helped you in your writing? I'm fascinated by this. I could see a few ways that it might, but I'd like to hear from the source instead of my speculation. Stank Money Gaming, do you have any sort of activity you do to get you motivated and in a creative mindset for writing? These days I can kind of turn it on and off because I've gotten so much practice. I've been doing this for 7 years. But I think a warm-up's never a bad thing, and the best thing I found for a warm-up is to set a 5-minute timer and just stream of consciousness write during that, just non-stop 5 minutes of writing. Literally, you could even just be journaling about your last few days during that time. It's just the act of getting those fingers moving on the keyboard, getting the wheels turning in your brain, and tuning out everything else, just focusing on writing. I think that's the best activity to get you warmed up, you know? Rich Maverick. Is Hank Moody's life as an author realistic? Pop off in a dry season, stuff like that? Well, I'm not familiar with Hank Moody's life as an author, but I would say the author experience is different for a lot of people. Everybody's got their own way of going about it. I know some folks that write, 3,000 words a day every day. I know some folks that do like really heavy word days, like a 10,000 word day, and then take the next day off and then repeat. I personally try to be really, really consistent, 2,000 words a day, every weekday. But I will say with inspiration, you can't force it, and you have to work when it's not there. So it is about consistency for me. And it's just, even if you're not inspired, you got to keep the writing going. Fluffy Chris Avelas? Sure, I'm just reading that so bad. Was that a map you were working on? Yes, I make maps on my Friday streams, and this is our most recent one. It's all finished now. We got the several different regions. It's a map for my comedy fantasy book that just came out. Well, I say that. It came out a little while ago. But it's a map for this book right here, which is a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip and all the shenanigans they get up to. It's available on Amazon and Audible. The links are all in my bio. Please give a look if you want. It supports me and it supports the stream. But yeah, that's Fridays. Mondays, we answer questions. Like this one, Tide and Terra, you said, when you complete a book, do you focus on the editing only, or do you also start to write the next one? Okay, so my process, Terra, is when I finish a book, I'll give it one pass for editing, then I shoot it off to the editor, and then while the editor's working on it, I start writing the next book. Because you generally have like 2 to 3 weeks before the editor gets back with edits. So I just roll right into the next project. And then when the edits come back, I'll pause, finish all those edits, and then continue with that next project. I find it very helpful to stagger like that. I think I missed some questions in here. Aaron Winnick asked, hey Aaron, what's the next thing you're working on writing? I am finishing Paragon 5, the final book in the Paragon series down here. Once that's done, I am doing book 2 of Wriggly Little Hands, and then books 2 and 3 of Servant of Rage to wrap up that trilogy. So that's like my rest of the year. It's going to be ambitious to finish all that this year, but I'm going to take a good swing at it. We're going to see what we can do, because starting in 2026, I am going all in on Wriggly Little Hands, and I'm writing more books in that world, and I really want to get to that. It's going to be fun. Not Chase Garrett, my friend. Welcome back in, buddy. Good to see you. You said, what's your least liked or most disliked part of the journey being an author? I don't like editing. I also don't like how unstable the income is for this career. It's a lovely, wonderful career, but you never know what's coming next. Is there going to be a dip in sales? Is there going to be an uptick? Is nobody going to like your new book? Is the sequel going to perform badly? Like, there's so many unknowns. You got to learn to be comfortable with it. So it's not a good job if you like predictability. You got to just be okay rolling with the punches. And then you also said, also, how have you been? I saw that you got lots of Wriggly Little Hand books being bought. Yeah, man, we're selling them. I'm really happy. It's doing well. It's approaching pretty good sales numbers. I'm very happy with it. Folks have been enjoying it. It's actually found a home with like YA, young adult audiences, which I didn't expect, but in hindsight makes a lot of sense. So it's been going good. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting it. And like I said, links are in my bio if you want to pick a copy up. Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, audiobook, all the formats, they're there. Laceless 12, what keyboard is that and where'd you get it? I have this answer written down because I get asked it a lot. The keyboard, I'll put it in chat for you. It's a Cooler Master SK630 10 keyless mechanical keyboard with Cherry MX low profile switches and brushed aluminum design. At least if you put that into Amazon, it'll come up. It's just like a $40 keyboard off Amazon, but it's mechanical and the keys are replaceable, the keycaps, which I needed because I wear out keycaps writing so much. Where was it? In Dahlia, you had said something about anthropology that I saw briefly and then it scrolled away. I took too long to get to it. Where was it? There it is. No, that's something else. I thought I saw something about it. If you did, please post it again so I can try to catch it. I saw it and wanted to respond and didn't get there. Into the Indie. That's a fun name. Is it more important to iron out rules for world building or focus only on features for the story? I personally think story above all else. I think it's totally fine to just focus on the story and build the world around the story. I think world building's a bit of an option. You can expand into the rest of the world if you want, but if you just want to tell a tight story and have the world focused around only the story, totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. IJWFD is Wriggly Little Hands, a children's book. I'm 28, but love the vibe of it. Thank you very much. It does have a good vibe. No, I wrote this as adult fantasy. It's just also clean. There's only like 2 curse words in it, and it doesn't have like any lewd jokes, so it works very well for YA in that it's goofy and whatnot. But it isn't. I wrote it like a Terry Pratchett book. It's really kind of okay for all audiences. I've just had a lot of YA readers enjoying it, but no, it's full for. It's a bit like a Disney movie in that kids will have jokes they like, but the adults will have jokes as well that the kids won't get. The kids won't laugh at the part where a goblin falls down a mountain of gold and it's described as tumbling down a billionaire's worth of untaxed income. Like the YA readers won't get that, but our adults will enjoy that. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you for real. Thank you very much. I hear it going off, and I appreciate everyone. I really do. Y'all, the chat is flying, so I apologize if I missed your question. Please feel free to post it again so I can see it. Let's see. Anti-Up. Have you heard of Asmongold's work? I frequently get described as Asmongold but bald, or Asmongold with hygiene, which, ouch. We have an Asmongold counter in the background. It's sitting at 49. I'm waiting to tick up to 50. That'll be a big day for us. In Dahlia, you said the anthropology degree really helps your world building and writing more complex characters, plus researching poisons. Spoken like a true mystery writer. I love it. Melissa Lee, thank you for that, Dahlia. I appreciate that insight. That's super fascinating. You're activating the anthropology side of my brain right now. Melissa Lee, how do you develop self-discipline when it comes to forming good writing habits? It's tough, right? It's tough. Basically, I believe in routine. I think if you set a routine for yourself and stick to it, the writing becomes a natural part of your schedule, and you get to a point where you're like, oh, I haven't written today, something feels wrong, and you want to write each day. I think that that'll help you even when the passion fades, right? So that's my advice personally is just routine. I think routine is the most powerful thing you can do for discipline. Connor in Japan, do you use AI to illustrate? I do not. I take great pride in being able to pay artists and doing my best to pay them as much as I can. I always try to overpay them what they ask because I think they deserve a lot of money, and I'm hoping to make more money so I can continue to pay them even more money. Lance Dragon, if I was to write a character losing their mind, I popped over to this because I wanted to say shout out to Ivan Shavrin. That's the artist that did the art for Wriggly Little Hands, as well as, hold please, the novella that I'm finishing right now, A Wriggly Little Assistant, which is a prequel to Wriggly Little Hands. I'm just so in love with this. Look at this. I told him to give me a goblin just slamming back a potion, and he was like, "Yep, no, don't need any more description. I got it." He was perfect on shot one. I love it. Ivan is the man. Get Off My Lawn. Where can we find that artist? If you look up, well, first of all, if you have the book, I've linked his socials in the acknowledgments page in the back matter, and his name is in the title page. But if you just put Ivan Shavrin, I'll put it into chat for you, onto social, particularly Instagram's where he's pretty big, you'll find him. Or if you do like Ivan Shavrin Art Station, that'll come right up. So yeah. Titan Terra, you just bought your copy of Wrigley. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey, goblins to celebrate. Goblin gifts for you to celebrate. You got your goblins on the way. I hope you enjoy the book, Tara. Thank you very much. Dahlia, you love the art for it. Thank you. Ivan's the man. Trainson1, do you have any tips for someone who is learning to write by writing lore for their OC? Well, one, I'd say rock on, dude. That's a great way to start writing. I don't think that there needs to be any like high-minded, like, I'm beginning my novel to learn how to write. If you want to write fan fiction, rock on, dude. You want to write lore for your OC? You just want to write random scenes? You want to rewrite, do the written version of a TV show episode you enjoyed? Like, all of that totally works. My tips for you starting out is don't be like, oh, I'm so new to this, I'm so bad. Enjoy the fact that you're at the beginning of a journey. One day you're going to look back and you're like, man, imagine those beautiful, bright, full of opportunity days when I started this journey and it got me to where I am now. Like, look at it from that perspective. Appreciate that you're at the beginning of something new and fun. And just like let that inspire you, have fun with it. And my most important advice is write only the things you're most excited about. I think people feel like there's like a way they should be writing stories. Throw that out the window. Write what you're excited about because your unique voice is the most creative aspect of any author's, catalog. So cherish that and grow it early on. You're good, Titan Terror. You're good. I appreciate you getting it at any point in time. Jace Hunter says, is it better to self-publish or have one else publish? If so, how do you publish a book? Someone else publish. It depends on what you want. There's 3 main types of publishing, maybe 4. Self-pub, a lot of people know that one. Small press pub, where you work with an independent press to publish your book. Traditional publishing, what people think of where you're like in Barnes & Noble, you're with a literary agent in a big publishing company. And number 4, I would say, is web serial publishing. Look into all 4 of those and find what's best for you personally. There's a lot of ways to do it, depending on what your goals are. Some are better than others. Fonette Tet TV said, hey man, when you're starting out, how are you getting your stories published or out there? Well, I started by submitting to a lot of short story contests. That was kind of my grinding phase early on. At the same time, I was doing ghostwriting for different publishers. So I got a lot of practice for other publishers' books that I didn't have my name on. But short story contests are really just the best place to start. I think it's just, if you place in them, There's always an announcement. There tends to some for the bigger ones. There's an award ceremony you might get invited to. They'll always publish your story online. It gets eyes on it. I think accruing awards through short story contests is a great way to start. It's how George R. R. Martin started. He wrote and won short story contests until publishers began asking him to write novels. So I think it's a really solid way to start. Not Chase Garrett and Aaron Winnick. Thank you for the heart me. Appreciate y'all, and you know the deal. You gave a gift. You get a gift. Goblins for you, Chase, and a goblin for you, Aaron. Thank you very much, y'all. I appreciate it. And thank you for the follows as well. A little flood of them coming in there. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let's get to these questions. Silas, author, what is your recommendation for promotion? Whew, man, I wish I had one. I'm bad at promo. I'm still learning it as I go. I think the most important thing is to be organic and be in the communities where your readers are, but not just as someone trying to sell, someone who's a legitimate member of the community. I don't think you can fake that, and I think that that's important. I also believe in bringing as much value for free as you can to a community, and that way, when you do have something to sell, people will be like, oh yeah, this guy's like giving me tons of advice and tips, and like I know them, of course I'm going to pick up that book. I feel like I owe them at this point. I think that's just a great way for good communities, you know? Blaze Gaming, welcome in, my guy. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Did you have a good weekend? Meepa No Chiller says, I read a news article that said men are not reading as much anymore. Should I be concerned? I do believe that the male readership is on the decline right now. I think it's largely because there's not as many books being published directly toward them these days. Traditionally, there were a lot of, men's fiction, adventure books, boys' adventure fiction, etc., etc. Things like Hardy Boys or like the Western dime novels. I think that's dropped off lately, but I think we can stoke that flame if we write to that audience and market to them. I think the reason they're not reading as much is they're just not having as much books published that are speaking to them. We've seen a large boom in women readers, and that's a great thing. We just need to see another boom in men readers as well to keep both formats growing, Landon, did you decide to become an author out of high school or college? If not, when and how did you start? Hey, great question. I knew I wanted to be an author from about middle school, but I didn't think it was realistically possible. But I still pursued it in my spare time. But the way that it really worked was I wrote stuff in college. I wrote my first book in college, but I wasn't successful in getting it published and making a ton of money or anything. So I went to a 9-to-5 job after college, and then in the evenings I would write and work on my next project. And then eventually I transitioned from my 9-to-5 job to being a freelance business writer. I wrote copy, sales copy, marketing copy, website copy for companies' websites, and then I used my connections there to find publishers that were looking for ghostwriters, and I convinced a couple to give me some ghostwriting gigs, and then I transitioned into ghostwriting sci-fi and romance novels, and then from that I slowly began publishing my own stuff. So my ghostwriting income was here, my author income was here, and I just slowly, over a period of like 2 years, reversed them. Which in hindsight sounds like it was really planned, but it wasn't. I was making it up as I went along. Hey, Fly Ziploc Bag. Good to see you. Your name is always difficult to say, but fun to read. Welcome back, my friend. Devin, have you ever been interested in Souls-like games? Lore. I know there's deep lore for like Dark Souls, but I'm not too familiar with it. I like those worlds a lot. They make me sad. And I don't like being sad, so I try to avoid them. But I am fascinated. I always enjoy the tidbits of lore when I find them. IJWFD said, what site did you mention about short story contests? I mentioned two. So the one for learning how to write better is helping writers become authors.com. So I just put it in chat there. The contest is called Writers of the Future short story contest. Take a look at both of those. I put them both in chat for you there. Jack Ann, you said, what makes a person hire a ghostwriter? The whole concept's confusing to me. So there were two kind of clients I had in ghostwriting. One, the minority, was somebody who wanted to hire a ghostwriter to write a book that they themselves couldn't write. I tended to avoid these clients because I don't think that's a sustainable model. I don't think an individual is going to make money paying an author to write their book and then sell it. I don't think that's sustainable. My majority of my clients were publishing companies who had identified, we think a romance novel focused on cosplay with a female-male relationship and hidden identities is a book that is going to do well. But we don't have anybody writing that right now. But we think it's going to do well. So they would go and they would find a ghostwriter and say, we need a book on romance involving cosplay, hidden identities, female to male. Closed doors. They give you those bullet lines, and then you would produce that novel for them. And then they would put a made-up name on the cover, pay you a lump sum fee, and then you never see that book again. That was how my ghostwriting worked. Or I also did a little bit of I did a health and nutrition textbook for someone, stuff like that. But largely it was publishers coming to me when they had identified that a story and an idea would sell well, but didn't have anybody actively writing it. I don't know what the ghostwriting market's like these days. It's been a while since I've been in it, but that's how it worked back in 2015, 16, 17 for me. Oh, Brandon, you got the title of the book that I asked for. Thank you. It is Dawn of Balance. Okay, so if you want to read the fanfic Star Wars series that Brandon wrote, Book 9 is called Dawn of Balance, and I imagine if you put that in, you could also go all the way back to Book 1. A. Johnson, what is your biggest struggle when trying to complete your first draft of a book? Just continuing. I feel like everybody has a point where they burn out in their first draft. For me, it comes around the 80% mark where I'm just like, oh my god, this book is terrible. I hate it. It's never going to be good. And the temptation really rises to go work on something else. Pushing through that is really important to finishing the book. And then once you finish it, give it a week or two, let it sit, let it rise, right? It's like baking. You got to let it set for a minute. Once you come back to it and see it with fresh eyes, I always find that 80% mark that I thought was terrible is actually not that bad, and I was just really caught up in the process, and I'm like, oh, this is actually good. I like this. So getting through the self-doubt is definitely the biggest challenge for me. Even now, with what, 10 books published and 13 or 14 written, it still hits me. Oh, let's read this name. It's in a funny font. Mark Anthony. Oh, that was actually pretty easy. Mark Anthony, what's up, my friend? Do you ever use a typewriter? I do. I have a 1950s typewriter. 56 maybe? I don't know. It's been a little while since I worked with it. But I do work with it once in a while for fun. I love typewriters, man. When those hammers hit the page, there's this smell of ink that rises in the air, and I love handling the physical paper and stuff. It's just love it. It's not an efficient or fast way to write, but it is a very enjoyable way to write. Dahlia said, how did you get over the pre-publishing / debut jitters? Because I'm shaking in my boots. Hey, completely normal. Honestly, you just kind of got to set the ball in motion and know that there's no stopping it, right? You've got a launch date, the book's coming out. That was just kind of how I got through it. But I still always feel those launch jitters, and a lot of my I call them coworkers. They're other full-time authors or approaching full-time authors that I talk to on a daily basis. They might be, published by the same publisher as me or whatnot, so we're in Discord servers. My coworkers that I talk with, we all still experience those launch jitters. They never really go away. You just get better at not thinking about them too much. Lord Taco, have I ever wanted to dip my toes in the 40K universe? I actually had an opportunity to write fiction for the 40K universe as a ghostwriter. And I thought long and hard about it and decided against it just because I don't do well with things that are persistently negative or grim, so I figured I wouldn't be a good match for it. So I didn't pursue it. I think I'm better with goofy, happy, funny stuff. That's why this is my brand going forward. Literally a silly comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. It's very Terry Pratchett. It's very goofy. This is the sort of stuff I'm better at writing. It's what I enjoy more. So shout out if you want to grab a copy. The links are in my bio. You can get an ebook, audiobook, paperback. It's in Kindle Unlimited. All those links are in my bio. Give Wriggly Little Hands a look if you don't mind. It supports me and it supports the stream. I appreciate it. Mark Anthony said, what kind of typewriter? Oh boy, I should know this. It is a I'm blanking on the manufacturer. It's a Quiet Deluxe is what is the model, but I'm blanking on the manufacturer. Let me Google it real quick. There you go. It's a Royal. It's a Royal Royal Quiet Deluxe. I think it's like a 1956. One of those big old chunky boys. Beautiful, beautiful gray color with dark green keys. I love it. I'm absolutely in love with my typewriter. Oh yeah, Mark Anthony. I sell my books for sure. That's how I make my living. Here's a lot of them. I got Lit RPG down here, and I got Fantasy up here. This is my newer stuff. This is where I'm kind of living now, but I used to do Lit RPG back in the day. But all of them are on Amazon, and the links are in my bio if you want to give them a look. I appreciate it. Have I seen the typewriter Bluetooth keyboards? I have. They're pretty cool, but honestly, typewriting keys are very slow. You can't write at the same pace as you can on a keyboard. So they're cool for aesthetic. They're not great if you're trying to like actually get a lot of words per minute down. I always go slower working with a typewriter, but it's about enjoying it. I mean, it's also why I spend so much time working on my comp book, right? Like, I just enjoy the physicality of it. There's a romance to writing by pen and paper or typewriter. And I like to enjoy that as much as I can because I think it's important to romanticize your job. Like, it's really easy to get bogged down in the mundaneness of like, oh, I just got to write a chapter today. I do it every day, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think there's any negatives to romanticizing what you do on a daily basis. I think it just makes it fun. Pretend you're the main character in some movie and like, I don't know, it just makes things more fun. I really dig it. Amara B, aspiring author. Thank you for the rose, my friend. We have a tradition around here. If you give a gift, you get a gift. So, you gave me a rose, I'm giving you a goblin. There you go. That one's for you. Thank you very much. Rich, what's up, my guy? You said you're popping in to give your daily hype up for Rise to Glory. Everyone go read it. Rich, you're too kind. Rich is talking about this, one of my standalone lit RPGs. It is a very good book. I'm in love with it. It just did not sell well, regrettably. It did okay, but not enough to warrant a sequel, which makes me sad because it has some of my favorite characters I've ever written in it. But thank you, Rich. I appreciate your ever running support for Rise to Glory. What's up, my guy? I hope you're doing well. Recovering from Lit RPG Con. Are you going to Dragon Con, Rich? I know there's a lot of cons coming up. You gonna be at any of them? Let's see. Where was it? Someone asked how much the books cost. They're all around $5 if you get the ebook, or around $15 if you're getting the paperback. So pretty standard pricing for an author of my size. Who are my favorite narrators? Asked Axe Kalis. Okay, so let's see. We'll go through this real quick. This one, Wriggly Little Hands. We had 7 narrators from Sound Booth Theater. The primary narrator is Dory Sachs. I think she was the best choice for narration. She does the most of the prose and the main character. The other 6 narrators do side characters, including we have Jeff Hayes, who you might know if you're a Dungeon Crawler Carl fan, doing the Dark Lord's voice. Very cool to have him there. But shout out to Chris Raglan, did Rise to Glory. I love that dude. Incredible narrator. Dory Sachs and Chris Raglan. Also Justin James. Love working with him. Incredible narrator. Basically anybody at Sound Booth Theater. Their stable of narrators is incredible. I love all of them. They're so talented. Rich, you are going to Dragon Con. Rock on, dude. Dude, send me pictures from it. I'm so jealous. I was just too busy to make Dragon Con. It didn't work in the writing schedule. But I really got to get better about going to those things. Kingpin, do I have audiobook versions? I do, yeah. All of my books are available in audiobook. All of them. Paragon's narrated by Travis Baldry, if you're familiar. Pretty big name in the audiobook space. So yeah, they're all in audiobook as well. Adam, you said my favorite book that I've made. Oh, without a doubt, it's Wriggly. Wriggly Little Hands. It's for the simple fact that I wrote so many dumb, silly jokes in that book, and just like was in here writing, just like cackling to myself. And then I would run over to where my wife and I work from home, so I'd run to the next room and tell her the stupid joke, and then she'd get to laugh at it. And then I got to see the editor laugh at the jokes, when they were editing. And then I put it out to readers, and y'all tell me about the jokes that you love. And it's just like I've now laughed off the same joke like four times, right? Talk about extracting max comedy from one joke. It's just brought me so much joy. Wrigley's absolutely my favorite. Have you or do you write cosmic horror? I'll tag this up with another question that I'm blanking on the name, but someone asked earlier, have I or will I write horror? I've not written horror. Not truly. There's some. The Far Wild is a thriller, a fantasy thriller, kind of Jurassic Park vibes, and it has a couple chapters in there that border on horror. I've not written horror though. I'm very fascinated by it, and I do like it, but I've not really written it. I'm really narrowing in on humorous, Terry Pratchett type stuff these days. Slindy, you said I don't know why I write more when I use pen and paper. Dude, I'm full on in agreement with that. It's really just a speed thing that stops me from writing in pen and paper all the time. But I really find it's more organic, and I can really just like headphones and a phone playing music, and then the notebook and just writing. Like that's the flow state right there. It's just not anywhere near as fast as writing on a keyboard, unfortunately. But I love it. It feels so much better. Kevin, good question. I want to answer this one because I think there's a lot to be learned from this. Also, real quick, thank you for the follows, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Kevin asked, how do you deal with not repeating others' ideas? Oh, Brandon, you got a dip. You're at work. Hey, have a good one, my guy. Thank you for being here. And also, where was it? Rafi, I think you asked about the songwriting. I'll answer that one next. But real quick, Kevin, the way that I deal with not repeating others' ideas is I don't worry about it, because there's this misconception when folks are starting out that they need to write the most original story ever. The reality is what sells a book is your voice as an author, the way you see the world, the way you decide to describe things. That's what's going to be truly unique to you. I hone in on that as much as possible. That's more of a style thing. Cultivate that voice. Don't worry about repeating others' ideas, because realistically, every story's already been told, but it hasn't been told by you. That's always what I say for this. People like repeating ideas that have already been done before. Like, readers enjoy tropes. Tropes exist for a reason. So we want originality in our stories, but not 100% original. We want more like 80% familiar with a 20% twist. So just don't worry about repeating others' ideas. Worry about making your voice or your story unique to you and telling it through your voice. Rafi, in regards to the songwriting, it's going good. Y'all, if you don't know, I write books full time, but my hobby right now is I've been working on songwriting a little bit. It's been really fascinating. It gives me reason to go to the library and just plop down with my comp book and just kind of work on some lyrics and stuff. I've really enjoyed it. Rafi, it's going good, my friend. I'm actually really enjoying it. I haven't had as much time as I want to work on it lately, but I'll have more this week, and I'm super pumped for it. We're filling the comp book up. I think we're probably 20 pages in now with it. I'm also learning Korean in this comp book, so every page is a mix between random Korean lessons or like whatever lyrics I'm working on, and I love it. Hey, what's up, Find Your Smile? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Someone asked a question about writer's block. Matt said, I know you hear this all the time, but how do I get past writer's block? It's destroying my creativity. Dude, it's brutal. It's brutal. I think the way to get past it, if it's from overwork, then take a break. Relax. Let your mind reset. If it's not from overwork, what I think you have to do is just kickstart that creative part of your brain again. And the way that I do that is I set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes, and I force myself to simply write for that full duration. I know it's probably not going to be good. Maybe I'll go back and edit it. Maybe I throw it all away, which never throw away writing. Just put it in a folder somewhere and forget about it. But that way, if you ever need it, you can go find it. Never throw away writing. But in order to get past that writer's block, I find I just got to kickstart my brain. So if I set that timer and just force myself to write that whole time, I find by the end of the timer, I'm kind of going. We're in the flow state. So that's how I do that. It is a personal thing, though. You'll have to find what works for you. That's what works for me. Tommy Boy. Hey, y'all, let me give a shout out real quick. My dude Tommy Boy Stream has been here since the first days of me streaming. Y'all should check out his profile, and he just dropped a new album. You should listen to it. It's pretty sick. I've found several tracks on there that I'm absolutely vibing with. I am proud of my dude, and I want to shout him out. So go to his profile, find his Spotify, and go listen to his new album. You might find you love it. Let's see. Alex, our next Korean pop star. You say that, Impage. You've never heard me attempt to sing. Whoa, wait, what's going on? Find Your Smile? What are you talking about, my guy? You said you signed to Fearless, you did Warped Tour, all that fun stuff. Music is tons of fun. Hold on, elaborate with that. Find Your Smile. What are you talking about here, dude? This sounds really interesting. Sloyd, you said any of these songs for books. I have done in Paragon down here. Every chapter begins with a little lore drop from the world, and a lot of those, not a lot, several of those are songs, nursery rhymes, or poems from the world that expand the lore. So I got to play around with some songwriting and lyrics in there. Through the aspect of lore, which is really fun. The rest of my books, there's no songs in them yet, but let me something I'm working on here, folks. One of my background projects that I really want to get to is K-pop Demon Hunters, movies blowing up, right? I think from a storytelling perspective, it's a really good study in how to write a very tight story. A lot of that was probably because they had a shorter runtime, they were kind of rushed, but I think they achieved a very effective movie that just like right through, just plot beat, plot beat, plot beat. There's no downtime. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna record every scene in the movie and its purpose, and I want to just get an outline of how it works, right? But while I'm doing that, I study stories like this for fun. I think it's a good way to learn how to write better, how to tell stories better. But they have it's a musical functionally, right? It has a lot of music bits in there, which is incredible music. But they have like literal like music videos in there. That stands out to me as different from typical story pacing, and I think in the purpose of the narrative, it serves as like an accelerant. It really pumps the story up and gets it moving. I want to see if there's a way to do something equivalent in books. I don't know what that is yet, but I think there's like 5 or 6 distinct songs in there that I think plot-wise serve as accelerants, and I want to see if there's a way to bring that into book writing. I don't think there is, but we're going to look at it. I want to see what we can do. Hey, what's up, Flesh Over Chrome? My morning is going lovely, my guy. How about you? Happy Monday. Let's start this week with good vibes and some high energy, huh? I'm ready for it. Kevin said, how many chapters would you have in the pipeline before doing Royal Road? I've heard up to 20. I think the more you have in the pipeline, the less stress you're going to have on yourself. I would do it maybe with 10 in the chamber because I'm pretty confident that I'm going to keep my writing output consistent, but 20 is a good place to be, especially if you're going to be doing Patreon or something where you release those chapters early on there. I think having the more chapters you have available early on Patreon, the more value you're getting to people who might subscribe there. Good question, Kevin. I appreciate it. I don't get a lot of questions directed at web serial publishing, so I appreciate that because web serial is a very big part of publishing these days. Crouton Frizzoli. I love that name. That's awesome. How do you keep track of characters and their relationships? Good question. I do have a note. I have two character documents when I'm writing. One is for main characters and one is for secondary characters. And I put in there the character name, their physical description, and then a brief background. And then beneath that, I'll include any relevant notes about them that have happened over the course of the story. So that's kind of how I do it. But beyond that, my main goal is to always make the story the primary source material. If there's something world building wise that's important, it will be mentioned in the story. And that way I don't need a bunch of organized note documents talking about it all. I just refer to the book, and whatever's written in the book is what I accept as canon about that place. And it's not canon until I've put it in a book, essentially. So I have a lot of notes about places and whatnot, but until they are described in the book, I consider those descriptions completely subject to change. So for characters and their relationships, for keeping track of them, I try to make sure it's on the page in the book, so that's like my lore Bible, and I'll make notes if I have to. LaFlame, do you have any tips for writing essays? Yeah, appeal to the emotion. I feel like I got through so much of college by writing essays that achieved what they were asking me to do, but also had an emotional appeal in them. I feel like if you can write to your point, but also find a way to make it have an emotional beat to it, people just want to give you better grades. Is that the best way to write essays? I'm not sure, but it got me good grades. KL, what would be the steps to creating your own comic book? I don't know for comic books. I've never written for comic books. It's fascinating to me because you have so many so much less words to work with. You have to tell a story in a lot less words. So I'm not sure. I've never done it. Flesh Over Chrome. I started a new book just to let my first book breathe a bit. Didn't want to suffocate it. Rock on, man. Sometimes that's helpful. I hope it goes well with you. Just don't fall into the trap of starting too many projects all at once. But hey, if it's working for you, it's working, dude. Congratulations, and I wish you the best with it. Noah, how long does it take me to write and publish a book? Writing, I work on about a 10-week timeline for my books, roughly 2 months. Publishing, it can vary. It depends on how fast the editor works, how long it takes to get the cover art. I try to commission the cover art when I start the book, so it's done by the time I finish it. But I'm on a pretty fast schedule these days. For self-pub, you kind of need to be. I'm working a little less with small press these days, a little more with self-pub. So I'm on a pretty fast timeline. I try to do 10 weeks. Kevin said, I have about 150 pages done. It's a summoner who gains a legendary mana regen trait, summons drain mana. Yeah, that makes sense for web novels. That's pretty right on for like prog fantasy or lit RPG. 150 pages. We tend to measure things by word count in the publishing world because pages can vary based on the format. You know, paperback pages differ greatly from ebook pages versus hardback pages, etc. So I'm not sure how many that is word count, but sorry, I see a question in chat from Baby Saja. So what's up, my dude? I love your rap interludes in K-pop Demon Hunters. Very good parts of the song. You said I have a question. Who are you? I am author Alex Knight. I've been writing full time since 2018. These are my books. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. And this is my most recent book, and I please ask you to go to my bio and pick it up on Amazon or Audible. It's an ebook, paperback, audiobook. It's about goblins on a road trip to save the Dark Lord, and well, they're goblins, so you can imagine they mess it up about as bad as you can. Give it a look. And welcome to the chat, Baby Saja. I'm glad that canonically you might have survived the climax of the movie. 14K, says Kevin. Word count. Yeah, Kevin, I'd keep going a little bit. I'd want to get that up to maybe 20K as a backlog. But rock on, dude. Well done. Eloise's? That's fun. Yes, well, thank you for saying you like the live. I appreciate that. I'm honored to have you here. Thank you for the follows, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful questions. I have all of my lives record to YouTube and then live there as replays. So if you go to my YouTube account, it's youtube.com/@authoralexknight. You can find all my past streams there, including this one. It's recording now. Slindy, what did you say? You said D-U-G-O? Dugo? Dugo, I think. I don't know what that means, though. Dugo. No, it'd be Dugu. Yeah, it was Dugu, actually. Yeah, probably Dugu. I don't know. My Hangul's not that great yet. I'm not sure what it means, though. Torment, do you plan on writing anything super dark and mature? If you want dark and mature, Servant of Rage is definitely it. I describe it as Dragon Ball Z meets Highlander. It's got some intense fight scenes, some pretty rough brother drama, and a very sinister magic system that is pretty rough. So if you like more dark, brutal stuff, this one, it's very different from my other stuff. It's my only book that's pretty dark and intense. Bernie's Booty, what's up, my guy? Good to see ya. Welcome in. I hope your Monday's going good. Your profile picture is kind of scaring me. Isabel, mind if I ask something long? Please do, Isabel. Feel free to type it out in multiple parts. So I can try to read it all at once. Oh, Slindy, that is an N, not a G. I misread the character. You're right, my guy. Nugu means who are you? Oh boy, I know this one. Hold on. I'm trying to remember how to say my name is. It's Irumi, right? It'd be like no. It would be Alex Ieo. So Alex Ieo is my name is Alex. I forget how to do it formally. Junun Alex Ieo, I think. I'm still working on the Korean though. Oh well, thank you, Eloise's. That's very nice of you to say. Look, I'm fully convinced every time I go live, there's gonna be nobody here, and I'm okay with that. but every time y'all show up, it is incredible, and I appreciate it. So thank you for being here. Oh, Slendy, you're really hitting me with the test now. Let's see. I'm seeing an NA, so Ne Irmi Alex. Ne Irmi Alex. There we go. Rock on. Isn't there a form? There's a formal way to say it though. It means as for me. My name is Alex. It's like Junoon, something like that. I just got to the lesson learning about that. It's a way to make it your answer formal or polite. Smelly Taco, I can tell you're an author because of your teeth, or maybe a real estate agent. Dude, it's the camera. I have thoroughly normal teeth. The camera just makes it look completely like whitewash, and you know what? I'm not mad about it. Pro Playa Slaya says, how do you avoid a soggy middle and keep pacing? Writing a zombie story in the middle is slow. That's a good question, Playa. What I do is I'm still perfecting this, and I've not been good at it in the past, but I'm trying to write only the scenes that excite me the most, and I think you can string together a book of only scenes that you find incredibly exciting. And I think that's kind of the secret. If anything seems to be slowing it down, see if you can cut it and only just gas on the fire every chapter. I was recently at a panel that Andy Weir was speaking on. I was an attendee, not a panelist, unfortunately. And he said what he does is he imagines his reader late at night being sleepy and reading his book, and what's the paragraph that they're going to go, okay, I can stop here and go to sleep, and he cuts out that paragraph. He wants you to stay up all night because you just have to keep reading. So that's kind of my thought process on it. It's the Clown. You said your conversations and dialogue seem robotic. Try to read them aloud. The truth with dialogue is that it is full of slang. It is full of colloquialisms. It's improper. Frequently, you don't speak a full correct sentence when you're speaking. So if you're having trouble with dialogue, say it aloud before you write it down. Or if you've already written it, read it aloud and see if it seems natural to you. But often just trying to convert what you want the character to say into how you would actually say it, they're very different. So speak it and then write it down. Dahlia, I know you prefer writing on paper, but if you tried Obsidian for lore and world building. I've not tried it, but I've seen a lot of folks use it. And it seems very powerful of a tool, Obsidian, for note-taking, recording lore, etc. I try to avoid too much note-taking, so I don't have a lot of use for it, but I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people value it and do well with it. Sleepy said, does Alex Knight think Sleepy is a good person despite his mysterious and questionable past? Sleepy, you tune in, you bring good questions, you bring good vibes, my guy. You got the big old green check from me. So I appreciate you. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. Whiterun Guard, halt! You committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What do you say in your defense? What I say in my defense is what's the bribe cost to get out of this Skyrim Whiterun Guard? Let me just pay it and move on, my guy. PBJ, how do you make sure not to create potholes? Has there been any that have slipped into your books? Definitely, there have been potholes that have slipped into my books, and thankfully the editor has called them out, and I've been able to fix them. Or I found them myself. Potholes just happen. You're just so focused on where the story has to go, you miss an obvious thing. I just try to fix them in editing, make them make sense, you know? They happen naturally. It's just an oversight. You'll get better at not creating them the more you write, but it's just an oversight, and you kill them in editing. You fix them. Y'all, I have to run pretty soon here, so I'll do a rapid fire of answers here. And then I gotta run. I gotta take my car in for some repairs today, so I have an appointment for that in 30 minutes, and it's a 20-minute drive, so I better get on that. But let's do some rapid fire questions real quick, and then I'll have to sign off. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the lovely questions. I appreciate it. Get Off My Lawn Guy says, with dialogue, don't forget each character needs a different voice. Absolutely. Let's see. Kevin, what do you think about this trait? Mana regeneration is increased by 3x. I think that's a good trait if you're writing a crunchy lit RPG that the really crunchy lit RPG audience will appreciate. It's not that interesting to me as someone who likes character and plot more so, but if you're writing for an audience that enjoys breaking a system and you know, making numbers, you know, using math to solve problems, could be good for them. Krista, have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance? I have not. I really need to. I'm sure I'd love it. I just need to find the time for it. Vanish Lou says, how do you go about getting your first book published? It depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for trad pub, small press, or self pub? Depending on which, or web serial. Depending on which of those four you think better for you, there's different routes to take. I went trad pub with my first one and then pivoted into small press and self-publishing. Impage, are you a Thane or a member of the Thieves Guild? Oh, I'm never a member of the Thieves Guild. I can't abide thievery. I also don't like the responsibility of being a Thane, so I like to just be a random wanderer when I'm playing Skyrim. Pro Playa Slaya says, what's your opinion on stories when most of the characters die by the end? I don't love it just because I don't like to be sad, but if it's got good meaning, or it's, a noble sacrifice or whatever, like, it's got its place. Powerful stories. There's value in it. I like goofy stuff, Kelso, my husband writes but hasn't tried to publish yet. He wants to. How can I best support him in this? Snacks when he's writing. Quiet time when he's writing. Let him rant at his ideas about you. Be available for brainstorming when he needs it. Just generally be a supportive partner, That's really it. And if you have a skill that can help benefit him, like my wife's really good at promotion, and she helps me with that, feel free to offer it to him. But just really talk with him, see what he could use for support. That's a very nice question of you to ask. It's the Clown. Do you think overpowered MCs ruin books? I think anything can ruin a book if it's done poorly. Overpowered main characters are fascinating, but they come with their own set of issues of, if they're overpowered, there has to be something else that they struggle against. And you got to make it an interesting conflict they're struggling against. Dahlia, when do you know a story or a plot is not working? Often when I can't progress it further and it just feels wrong. It doesn't feel like it's moving forward. It should be, all of your chapters should be, this happens, and because of that, the next chapter happens. And because of that, the next chapter happens. And it should be like you're like playing Mario Kart and you're hitting a boost pad. It's just boost pad, boost pad, boost pad all the way through the story. How do you write death to be impactful? You make the readers like the character. You make the character have meaning. It's not their death that is impactful, it's the consequences of it. Obviously, we're sad when a character dies if we like them, but the consequences of their death should resound through the rest of the book, and that's how you make us feel the death of the character even after they've left the page. Slindy, you're part of every guild. Yeah, you're going for that max, do it all Skyrim run. I feel that. I'm a rabid minimalist, so I play games weird. I'm infamous for playing Pokemon with the smallest team I possibly can. I'm currently playing through Emerald with a 3 Pokemon team and like 5 Pokemon in my computer. I know this drives people nuts. I'm sorry. I am an unrepentant, rabid minimalist. G. Grimes, how do you decide your first sentence? Painfully. It's really important. I often have not. I start with the first sentence that I tried to make good, and I will frequently come back to it throughout the book and improve it based on how I get to know the book better. And my first sentence is often not set until I finished the book, because it's the most important sentence in the book. It's got to hook people. So I spend a lot of time on the first sentence. Isabel, do you have to know everything about a world for you to start writing a story in it? Absolutely not. In fact, it's completely fine to discover the world as you write the story. It's discovery writing. It's a different type of writing, but it works totally fine if that's what, works for you. Rock on. Impage says, I try to become part of every guild in Skyrim, but then get distracted by adventure and never finish it. Hey, as long as you're having fun, man. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. PBJ, is it difficult to foreshadow well? I don't think so. I think foreshadowing can be achieved effectively even with a formulaic strategy. What I do is mention, I have an event in the future that I know is going to be relevant. I will mention it once, a very obvious clue to it. Very, very, very obvious. Second time I mention it is much more subtle. It's to remind briefly, but it's very subtle. And then the third time is when it pays off, when it happens. So like, I had a person who was, in one of my books, sending messages secretly through carrier pigeons. And I mentioned I had one scene where like the main character very clearly saw the bird cage, said how many birds were in it, that there were different types, etc. Very in your face. You literally see the character writing a letter, putting it on the pigeon, and sending it out into the world. Later on, that was foreshadowing. Later on, I brought back again that character writing a note, but a little, and giving it to a pigeon, but a lot more subtly, more of just like an offhanded mention. And then the third time, you realize that was actually relevant. So I think for foreshadowing, one very obvious moment of foreshadowing, one very subtle moment, and then the payoff. I think if you do that, you're good to go. Dude, nice. PFC, you ran a 2 Pokemon team on Ruby and got there. Aggron and Swampert. That's sick, man. I think it's doable to get down to like 2. I'm going to try it. Obviously, it's doable because you did it. Have you read Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan? I don't believe I have. Have you read The 2 Weeks Curse by Michael Chatfield? Also, I don't think I have. Is Chekhov's gun the same as foreshadowing? They're very similar. They're very similar. The Dark Lord's flame was silent but extra deadly. Josh, right in your first sentence. Love it. All right, y'all. I need to run. I am running late to get to the repair shop, but thank you for being here, folks. I seriously appreciate you. Thank you for all the follows. Lovely questions. I'll answer one last one. Miss Pig said, how many rough drafts do I normally do? I do 1 rough draft. Then we edit it, and we move to publishing. Well, I edit it, the editor edits it, I edit it one more time, then we go to publishing. But I try to cut down on time spent drafting just for the... I'm on a fast publishing schedule. Jake Hartman on YouTube, my guy, I just saw your comment. I'm running out the door, but you said I'm about 90K words into my book, and I'm almost finished. First of all, congratulations, buddy. But now I'm tempted to rewrite large parts because I feel like I'm way better at writing now. Don't do it, Jake. Don't ignore the temptation to rewrite. Your time is better served editing up the existing story and starting a new one and using everything you've learned to make the new one better. Go with that instead. The temptation to rewrite's always there, but nothing good comes of it if the book's that close to done. Finish it, ship it, do the next one. Y'all, I just dropped the Discord link in chat. If you've had fun in this chat stream today, you want to catch us outside of it, please join the Discord. We've got over 200 members now. It's a lovely community. I am flattered that y'all are joining and hanging out with me there. But we'd love to see you. Otherwise, like I said, I do have to run. Thank you for being here. I will be back Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central Time. Also, keep your eyes out Tuesday. Not promising anything, but I'm thinking Tuesday I might do a productivity stream. I got a lot of writing to do Tuesday, so I'm thinking about just putting the camera on, doing like 30 minutes of writing, and then like 10 minutes of like chatting with everybody, and then back to 30 minutes of writing. We're going to look at it. So feel free to join me on Tuesday if you see me live. That's what I'm thinking about doing. But as per the normal schedule, Wednesday 7 a.m. Central Time I'll be here. Friday 7 a.m. Central Time I'll be here. So I'll see you for both of those, and maybe on Tuesday. Y'all, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I wish I could stay longer, but I got to get my car into the shop for a very silly issue. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate all the regulars hanging out. Let's go through the outro, folks. As always, a special thanks to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs, Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which have provided our background music today. As well, an extra special thank you to community member Rafi the Engineer, my dude, who provided our newest background song, Midnight at the Round Table. Thank you, Rafi. Of course, a shout out to my excellent mods, Melissa Lee 28, Rafi the Engineer, One Happy Harpy, Simp, 1X, other name wasn't available, aka Slindy, Leisha T, and Aaron Winnick, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Thankfully, we have a wonderful community here, and not a lot of moderation needs to be done, but I appreciate y'all all the same. And thank you to everybody in chat that's been behaving, for lack of a better word. You guys bring good energy, and I appreciate it every day. Lastly, folks, if you've enjoyed this stream, please give me a follow so I can catch you on the next one. I'll be back probably tomorrow for a productivity stream, definitely Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central Time for our regularly scheduled stream. And folks, that one, we are going to do your favorite lines. So come with your favorite book in mind, and we are going to pull it up on Amazon. I'm going to read the opening lines, and I'm going to talk about it from an author perspective, what's going on in those opening lines. We're going to dissect it, talk about it. So come back for that, folks. It's going to be good. I will see you then. But until next time, thank you for being here, and hope to see you again. Y'all have a very, very good Monday. Let's have a good week, guys. Thank you for being here. I will see you on the next one. Peace out, and be excellent to each other.